Hey Blazers, this episode is brought to you by Audible.com, an Amazon company. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/Blaze Entertainment.
Or visit the sponsor and supporters links on our website at entertheblaze.com. With over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now let's start the show.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's start the party. You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
What's going on, Blazers? We are back with another episode of Blaze Entertainment. I'm your host, Kwame, joined by the beautiful, the melanin proficient, the incomparable. I don't know what she's doing right now. She's making weird sounds and movements. Miss Free.
You don't have to do all that.
You know, I have to. You know,
no, you don't.
You are the queen of Blaze.
Too much. It's
too much. How are you today, Miss Free?
I'm okay.
Yeah? You hanging in there?
Yes.
Life is good?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. Won't he do it? Won't God do it?
Yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
God is good all the time.
All day, every day. Speaking of God, I actually have started watching a show called Greenleaf, and I've been trying to get you to watch it, and I know you have a lot on your to-do plate and to watch list. Yes. So, but I didn't know how I would feel about it because, you know...
I mean, you sat there and watched the whole thing without me anyway.
I really did. I couldn't wait because I watched the first 2 episodes and I was hooked. Okay. And I literally watched I think it was like all two seasons. I think the 3rd season's coming out soon. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't not. I'm so sorry. Mm-hmm. But I love you though. Next time. But with that being said, we have an amazing guest on the show today. I am super excited because he is actually one of my favorite characters on the show. I'm so excited. We have the amazing, the incomparable, the handsome, the outstanding, I can't even say, there's too many words, the fine, the amazing Parnell Damone Marcano. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. Oh, I love all those adjectives to describe me.
It's a thing.
I received that.
Yes. How are you today, sir?
I am doing well. I've just been doing a lot of running around today and packing for a trip. I'm heading out in the morning for a gig with Mary Wilson tomorrow. Yes. So, yes, you know.
Someone's booked. So, for those who don't know, you are a cast member and actor on Greenleaf.
Yes. I play Carlton Cruz, who is the what's the word? How should I describe him? The somewhat I don't want to call him combative, but put upon choir director at Calvary Church. You know, so it's been a very interesting 2 seasons for Carlton.
Yes. I first of all, I when I first started the show, watching the show, I was just a little, and I have to fan out a little bit because I fell in love with the show. I really did. I didn't, and to be quite honest with you, your character spoke so much to me. In addition to Ty White, who plays Kevin Satterley, and mm-hmm. I could not. Because I have what's the word? I guess the word is church hurt before, you know. I've recently rejoined church and have found a really amazing family. Shout out to Church One. But I for a long time I kind of stayed away from the church because of my sexuality and how it's specifically the Black church targeted and how they treated the gay community. And so, watching Greenleaf kind of reinvigorated me a little bit, but it still was like, you see, this is what they're doing to us. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciated your character because, first of all, for the spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, so, when you got in there and when Carlton was fired, and then they asked for him back, it was that humbleness that they had, and they said, you know what, he did great work, and he didn't, he was the epitome of what a Christian should be. And so I really just appreciated that. And so I want to know how does it feel to play that character and to kind of live that experience, and have you lived that experience in your personal life?
Not really. I mean, when I was a teenager and stuff, I was into church a lot more than I have been as an adult. Mm-hmm. And our pastor didn't even touch on issues of sexuality and stuff like that. So I was never in a church setting where I felt uncomfortable or that I had to be like, oh Lord, he talking about me. Mm-hmm. And then as an adult here in LA, I was a member of Unity Fellowship Church, which is very affirming, mm-hmm. Of all sexuality. So I was lucky in that regard. And, the last 20 years or so, I haven't really gone to church much at all, just because my schedule, I'm usually not in town on Sundays, or I'm just flying back and I'm too tired to go to anybody's church. And I kind of got out of that, It's like, well, I could make it, but the time I've been on a plane for 5 hours, I ain't thinking about them people. And then it just got to a thing where I was cool with my own personal relationship with the universe that we call God. Mm-hmm. And I've just been on that journey. I'm not opposed to going to a church service now and then, but it's just kind of like, I got what I needed from that environment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I do know what Carlton means to a lot of people who have lived that experience, who have been involved in the church, mm-hmm. and were made to feel less than, or that they had to hide that part of themselves. I've gotten a lot of people who've either come up to me or have messaged me on social media. It's like, oh my God, you're telling my story. So I lived that. And, thank you for representing so many of us who don't have a voice to speak out on that issue. And it's like, oh man, wow. Thank you for that honor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wow. It's just interesting because, in the scene, when Carlton, spoiler alert again, when Carlton gets fired, a lot of people are just like, wow, to feel like you're being lied to, but to still be loving in spite of. Parnell is a little more sharp-tongued. It was like, oh, really? That's what you want to do? Well, let me tell you something. That's me.
What you won't do. I think, and that's one of the reasons why I gravitated to your character so much. Not and nothing against Ty White. He plays an amazing character and speaks to a lot, mm-hmm. of especially a lot of black men who or gay black men who live that life and have to hide themselves, but for your character, you really I related to that a lot, just because I have been in church situations where I was a leader, in either a praise dance leader or doing some type of ministry and being shunned because oh well, he's gay, he can't really lead, and so seeing that was just like, oh, this is too much. I was crying, but don't tell nobody because I have a reputation to maintain. I don't. But yes,
yeah, I think it's the crazy thing because it's like this big open secret that everybody knows, but everybody kind of wants to pretend that it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. It's like, I mean, we've all heard all the comedians and stuff who make jokes about, oh, the gay choir director over there, or the gay minister of music. So we all know that 99.9% of the time that the choir director or the director of music is somebody from the LGBTQ community.
Right.
And and it's like different churches have different ways on how they respond to it. Some just look the other way. Some are kind of affirming, that, oh, well, yeah, there's so-and-so and his friend, or so-and-so and her friend. The church, we all know that the gay and lesbian folks are there because they make up the choir and the deacon board and sometimes the ministers and the ushers. We've always had a presence in the church, but like Carlton says, like, oh, they love you all week as long as they can put you back in that closet on Sunday.
I know that's right.
Well,
it's so stressful.
yeah. Exactly. The same people that be like, yes, hey, child, all week long. When you come on Sunday, all of a sudden they want you to be very like straight.
Right.
It's like, okay, oh no, I know I was just over at you and your partner's house last night, but today I'm gonna act like y'all are just friends.
You better speak the truth.
So I know that you are an advocate for social justice. So I just wanted to ask you, how has your advocacy, negatively or positively affected your acting career?
I can't say that I've had any negative feedback that I'm aware of. I mean, who knows what people say privately when I'm not around. But I have never had anybody come and say, oh, well, you didn't get this job because you said this, or you were at this march, or you protested that, or you posted this. I mean, it's been quite the opposite. I've just had a lot of people who have been very much, thank you for speaking up. Thank you for representing. Thank you for being there. Especially in the early days back in like the 90s when I first really started getting involved in, social justice and marching and protests and all that. I used to tell, I was like, you know what? I'm out here marching for 10 of y'all who are sitting here scared to show your face. It's like, I need y'all to stand up and go here. And if you are against war, then you need to get out there. Don't just sit in the living room and tell me, get out in them streets with me.
I know that's right.
And if you are for women's rights, come on, let's go out here. Let's stand out there. If you're for same-sex marriage and marriage equality, then come on, let's get out in the streets and stand up for that and make that known that that's what we stand for, instead of being scared. instead of being afraid. Well, somebody might say something. Yeah, you're right. Somebody might say something. But guess what? If we don't say something, they're going to keep saying something to other people who are afraid to speak out. So somebody has to stand up and go like, hey, me over here, I believe in this. I believe in equality for all. I believe in, wage equality. I believe in equal opportunity. And that's what I'm standing for. And as loud as you talk about marginalizing and minimalizing people, I'm going to stand up for raising everybody up to the same level and the same opportunities.
Yes.
And let the chips fall where they may.
Yes. You better go ahead and say what you need to say, sir. Say what you need to say. I wanted to ask you, going back to Greenleaf, first of all, how did you get on there? What was your course, your path to lead you to where you're at now when it comes to Greenleaf?
Many, many, many years of working in theater and film and television and print, sometimes for little money, sometimes for no money. And with the actual casting of Greenleaf, my agent sent me out on the audition, and I went on, on a Monday, and they're like, oh, here's what's happening. They're auditioning Monday, and flying you out, on Wednesday if you're cast. I'm like, okay, great. So I went. I had an audition. I had a couple auditions on Monday. I had another audition on Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon, I got a call like, hey, you're pinned for the role, so stay tuned. We'll call tomorrow, let you know if you're going to be on the plane. I'm like, okay, great. About 1:00 on Wednesday, I got a call from my agent. I was like, are you calling to tell me that I'm going to be on a plane later this afternoon? It's like, yes, I am. Like, yes! Yes! So I basically had 2 hours to get home, pack a bag, and be ready for the car to pick me up to take me to the airport.
Nice.
And I flew out, and that Thursday, I shot the very first episode where Carlton and Charity meet. And realize, like, I like you, yeah. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, well, I was just gonna say, it's funny because people always ask me, well, what did you do to get the role? What did you do? And I'm like, well, there is no magic spell. You just go in there prepared and you do you. And this time around, they just happen to particularly like what I brought.
How about you're just that dang untalented? How about that? I'm just saying.
Well, there is that, but I've been talented a long time and haven't gotten a lot of gigs. So, and I think that's one of the things that you realize early on in this business is very often it has little to do with your actual talent. Because there are a lot of folks who've been working in this industry for a long time who have marginal talent, but what they have is a likability or a charm about them or a look that people respond to. And if there is talent mixed in with that, even better. And it's just like, it just happened to be like, yes, the talent was there. But I think they also like who Parnell is as a person. Like, I like that guy. Yeah, let's bring him in and see what he can do. It's like, you know what? I like him so much. Let's bring him back.
Right on.
And it's just been it's the nature of this business. There are a lot of no's before you get that yes, and then hopefully that yes leads to more yeses, which leads to more yeses, and you just keep going and build a career of longevity. Because the last thing I want to do is just like, okay, you burned real hot for like 15 minutes and then nobody ever heard from you again. So this has been, like I said, it was not an overnight success. Like I said, I've been working in this industry for almost 30 years, relatively unknown to a nationwide audience, let's say that. Locally, folks knew me, although I am internationally known. Because, I performed with Mary Wilson, all over the world, singing all those Supreme songs for this is my 25th year singing background with her. So I've got friends in the UK and, folks in South America and in Africa and, all this stuff. So it's like, when I say I'm internationally known, it started out as a joke, but it actually is the truth,
He's a traveling man.
So with your 30 years experience, what tips would you give to someone who is, struggling in their acting career and they're trying to find their big break? What tips could you give to that person who is struggling?
Oh, the big, as the street vernacular, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
I know, that's right.
I mean, that is the thing, and that was a lesson I had to learn as well. So there should always be a monologue or two that you have ready at a moment's notice. If somebody says, hey, you have an audition in an hour, they need a 2-minute monologue, you better have one. That's not the time to panic and go, oh Lord, I gotta hurry up and memorize something real quick. There should always be a couple that, here's my comedic monologue that I hear, here's my dramatic monologue that I have, that I use, and then every so often switch it up and learn a couple new ones, because eventually you start going in front of the same casting people and like, oh Lord, he's still doing that same damn monologue that I heard 7 times. Having your headshots current, being up to date on the casting websites that are out there, always updating your material. If you can afford classes, get into classes as much as you can. That's the real thing. Stay in training. If you're not working, then you should be in class.
Okay.
That's one thing that I say, and really is about cultivating relationships, because it really isn't what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
There are a lot of very, very talented people out here who are not working because, they haven't made the connections. Nobody knows who they are. You can't just sit and wait for fame to come to you. You got to get out there and let it know that you want it. Like, hey, I'm here. I'm here to work. Yeah, okay, I did this student film. I did this little short film. Okay, I did this little theater piece over here. I did this because I'm out here hustling. letting people know who I am so people can see my work. That person who may have asked you to do a project for a little bit of money or free, next year may be in charge of a multi-million-dollar project, and they're like, I really liked working with you. Hey, I know you did this favor for me last year for free. I told you I would, when I came up, you would come up with me. Are you available to do blah, blah, blah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is, it's all about who you know.
Yes. Not what you know,
That's
who
what
you know.
I'm trying to tell people. But since you're a professional, you gotta
let him tell him.
Weight, yeah.
Right. I wanted to ask you, first of all, I know that you've been, in the industry for a while. Do you ever get starstruck? And if you do, like, when was the last time that it happened? And did it happen on the cast?
I not as much as I might have once. I mean, I still get excited about, meeting people, and it's like, oh my God, that's so-and-so, and I'm working with them. Of course, Oprah was the big one because I'd been wanting to meet her for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally got a chance to meet her and say hello at the season 1 wrap party, I was so afraid that I was going to burst into the ugly cry, like, oh my God, Oprah, but I held it together. I held it together and was very like, hi, Miss Winfrey, it's so nice to meet you. And in my mind, like, does she know who I am? And, she reached around and hugged me and patted me. She's like, good job. I'm like, Oprah knows who I am.
Now that's you made it.
That was the big moment for me, and because I've met with being on the road with Mary so long, I've met so many showbiz legends, from the Temps and the Tops and the Commodores, Martha and the Mandelas, Chubby Checker, Chuck Bass, gosh. So many. Crystal Gale, the Everly Brothers, Benny King, wow, just all kind of folks. So you kind of start going like, oh, hey, this is the circle that I run in, yeah. And it's just kind of nice to be like, I worked really hard to be in this place where I can hold my own among these legends, and still, just sit there and watch them and soak in how they perform, how they react to the fans. It's like, okay, always gracious, always like, hey, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, sure, I'll take a picture. You want an autograph? Okay, sure, I'll sign this, because it can be gone in a moment's notice,
Right.
The next hot thing can come along and they're like, Parnell who? Oh yeah, he was that guy on that show years ago.
Mm.
I'm just like, no, I want to cultivate that. Like, oh my God, he was on this, and I saw you on that, and I saw you on this play, and I'm like, wow, you've been really kind of paying attention, and I appreciate it, and I thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It means a lot that people pay attention to what you do and appreciate it.
Yes. So I know that you have like possibly an NDA or non-disclosure agreement, and that's okay.
Oh,
but I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna risk it anyway. So, I'm gonna take up this time because Miss Ray hasn't watched it yet. So Grace Greenleaf, right? And we're gonna talk low so nobody hears us. So Grace, in the last season, first of all types of mess was happening. Okay, all types of craziness was happening that last season, and I thought the first season was just like a gut wrencher for me. But I was just like, "What you mean I have to wait for season 3? It was too much." Okay. What can you tell me tell us in terms of the direction that Carlton's going to be playing because I'm wording this as carefully as possible. Mm-hmm. What can you tell me the direction that Carlton's going to be playing? Are we going to be seeing more of Carlton, and what role is he going to be playing in season 3? Is he going to have more FaceTime? Like what's tell us what's going on.
You know what? I don't know.
What you mean?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I guess I have never gone up to Craig Wright, the creator, mm-hmm. or Oprah or anybody and go like, so what's what's my story arc this season? You know, what's happening? I just kind of, when they call me, I say, okay, I can be there on this day and just go. And I probably should kind of sit down and go like, so how many episodes am I in this season? How many lines do I got?
It's funny. It's funny because I noticed that like a lot of actors, especially when they do these red carpet events where they get interviewed or whatever, they don't. The producers and the writers don't tell them a lot. You know what I'm saying? Unless
right.
like you're producing it yourself or you're part of the writing team, they don't tell you guys a lot. Is that weird to you?
No, it's kind of. I mean, it's kind of great because as a fan of the show, I also get to kind of find out as it's happening, as the script is handed, I get to read and go like, ooh. Oh my goodness. And then when there are episodes that I'm not in, so I don't know what happens until the show airs. So like everybody else, I have to watch those episodes to know what happens in between the episodes that I'm in. Because there was a whole lot of stuff last season. Well, since somebody hasn't seen the show, I won't mention characters' names.
Y'all being shaded now.
Who's the shade?
Good Lord.
But when a certain character was killed, I didn't know about it until I came back in the following episode. And I was like, wait, who killed what? Who? What? Wait a minute, what happened?
That took me out.
Yeah. I had to go back, like, ooh.
I had to rewind it. I was like, did this really happen?
Because it was interesting because it was the first scene of that type in the show, where there was that kind of violence going on. It's like, oh, damn. Ooh. Oh, they are really going at it. But yeah, I this is what I know that the issue of LGBT people in the church is going to be addressed, but I don't know how much of a role Carlton is going to play in that. Besides, coming back to Calvary, to lead the choir. But that's, and I can only say that because we all know he was asked to come back to the church. So I'm not divulging any secrets on that one. But I'm just I'm hoping that he is used in a positive way to go like, okay, look, this man is coming up in here in this church and is, praising the Lord and using his talents to uplift. And instead we have people who are looking sideways at him because he is married, to another man. I'm like, now, isn't that what we're supposed to do? Is encourage people to be in committed, loving relationships?
Right.
So I don't know. It's going to be, and I know that challenges a lot of people's notions on what we're quote unquote supposed to be. But I've always been like, well, I think it's really kind of presumptuous, I guess the word I'll use, is to kind of tell God how it can express itself.
Right.
You can only be this. You can only be that. You're like, well, that's just kind of like saying, well, then people should only be white.
Right.
Or people should only be male, or people should only be rich. No, we have a lot of interesting varieties of humanity that are out there, that person who is like Stephen Hawking, is in a wheelchair, can't move, speaks through a computer, but he's a brilliant mind.
Right.
He has taught us so much. Now, somebody could have said, oh, well, he's a deformed human being. You might as well kill him off in childhood because he's never going to be anything. But God said, no, there's something for you to learn from this person. So, why don't you hush up and let me do what I do?
Right.
Because I know what in creating this person this way.
Yes.
Man.
So I think that just, okay, now folks might be mad. Oh, look at him. He over there thinking he knows something.
Well, it was a word.
It was a word. He dropping gems today. Now, do you know anything about Kevin and Jabari? Do you know what's going on with them? Because shout out to Ty White. Heart emoji.
My boy Ty. It's so funny. Because several of my friends have talked about when Charity and Carlton are together, they basically ignore Kevin.
Right.
It's like, y'all better stop being so shady to Kevin. Y'all better pay that man no mind. And I would read, people would tell me like, oh yeah, I bet the choir director. I'm like, Carlton, he has a name. His name is Carlton.
Right.
The choir director and Charity's husband, they're going to get together. And I would get so upset about it. It's like going, wow, that's what they really think, that all gay men are just messy like that. That all we do is go and chase after our women's husbands. Mm-hmm. And I was always of the mind, I said, Carlton doesn't even know that Kevin is gay. He's never paid him that much attention.
Right.
It's like, when you except for the first time that they met, was the only time he's like, okay, girl, your husband's cute. Okay, you did all right. And after that, he's like, okay, bye. When they see each other, it's like, hey, Kevin, okay, Charity, so.
Right.
And they go off on their own business and leave Kevin standing there like going, oh, bye.
And I've always found Charity and Carlton's relationship so interesting. There's the whole stereotype of the gay man and the gay the best friend pops up. But what's really cool about Charity and Carlton's relationship is that they really treat each other like siblings. And I really appreciated that. So I want to know if is that how you guys are in real life? You and Deborah.
That is the funny thing about it, because after we shot that first scene where Carlton and Charity meet, Deborah Joy and I were both like, no, I like you for real. They're like, no, I like you for real.
No, but seriously.
Yeah, for real, I like you. And we've had, we don't always get to hang out as much in real life. Because most of the time they are there in Atlanta shooting, and I'm flown back and forth. But we have gotten together a couple times while we've been here in LA. Karen Kendrick, who plays Wanda, the two of us, we went to go see Deborah Joy and B.B. Winans play Born for This. Mm-hmm. So we went to go support her and hang out, and then I met up with Deborah Joy and her husband, Ty, his fiance. My husband was sick; he couldn't go. We all met up for dinner a couple of weeks ago in Hollywood. Got a chance to just socialize and just eat and drink and kiki and just be friends. Mm-hmm. Which is awesome. And everybody in the cast gets along really well. And sometimes I get all jealous because, they're there in Atlanta, we're over so-and-so's house for dinner. Like, man, how come y'all never have dinner when I'm in town?
I could eat.
I said, shoot. But, it is what it is. But I love it when I show up and people are happy to see me. Like, Parnell! Like, oh. Oh, they do like me. Oh, cool.
Right on. Well, I don't want to keep up any more of your time. I know that you have to go. You're a very busy man. And you have episodes to record. So, because I have questions. I want to thank you so much, Parnell, for taking the time out to join us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And tell Ty I said hello. So, said hi.
His fiance gonna come get you. She don't play.
Tell her I said hi too. But no, I just wanted to give you an opportunity for those who may not know where to find you, if they had questions or want to follow you. Where can they find you on social media, sir?
Excuse me, as I choked to death. I am.
Don't do that.
That Parnell guy on Twitter. Mm-hmm. PD Marcano, that's PDMARCANO on Instagram. And my Facebook page is Parnell Damone Marcano, the actor.
Yes. The actor.
The.
Yeah.
Yes. Not a actor. The.
Not the.
The. Yes. Yes. You better claim your title, sir.
let folks know.
Yes. And I would love to, hope that if obviously schedule pending and promising, if you're able to come back on when the season premieres, because would love to. Yes. I'm gonna hold you to it. Y'all heard, Blazers. Y'all heard him, right? Thank you so much, Parnell. Really, we truly appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you so much for having me.
Please continue the great work. You are an amazing actor, and we really appreciate your work and the gift that you bring to that screen, sir.
Thank you so much. Success for all the Blazers out there.
Yes, and Blazers, don't forget that you can always go to www.entertheblaze.com to find out listen to all of our episodes, this episode as well as the rest of the Spotlight editions, as well as you can go to and listen to After the Blaze podcast, which is our sister podcast. And don't forget also you can visit our mother network, which is www.pyramedianetwork.com. And I think that's it. Miss Free, you good?
Yes, I'm good. I'm Gucci.
All right. All right, Blazers, we are out.